So the other night I was watching Netflix and there was a program on there, a new one that's just been added. I can't remember the name of it. And they were talking about which areas in the world, cities or regions or villages in the world known as blue zones, where the life expectancy is the highest. And they did this many years ago, and the reason why they call it blue zones is there was a guy who did this study many years ago, and I think where he put a blue marker, blue zone, it then got coined the blue zone. That's where the term came from, blue zone, that's what it means, that's how it kind of got invented. And it basically means that on a world map, or anywhere in the world, where are people living the longest? And back in those days, it got discovered that it was in Japan somewhere, can't remember the place, Sicily, a little village in Sicily, Pakistan, Hunza, the mountains, I think the Kalash people, I think it was there. And there was one other one, I can't remember. But they were the three main ones. This was a study done by a guy way back. Don't quote me on the guy's name, haven't Googled it. I don't know anything. Point is, I watched the show the other day. And there's a new guy on the show, and this guy, I don't know if he's famous or not, but he became popular because he cycled the world. He got on his bike and did the world tour on his bike. Great achievement. I don't think I could ever do it. So this guy is an experienced cyclist, and now I think he's a little bit older. To be honest with you, I don't think he looked good for his age. He was only like 50 something, and there was people on the show that were 100-year-old that looked in better shape physically than he did. So he's clearly doing something wrong, which is probably why he's on the search for this longevity thing. Anyway, he went to Japan, and one of the there's a few things that happened, but let me just dissect it bit by bit. So this might be a little bit of a long video because I'm training as well. So I'm not going to show you my sets and reps while I'm doing it, but I'm just going to talk in between doing the sets and reps. So one of the things was, okay, when you went to Japan, they had food. Everything's all about food, right? What were they eating? Now, he found out that in this particular region, post-World War, that they were eating a lot of these sweet potatoes. I, for the first time, had seen this sweet potato I went to Hong Kong, I'd seen it there. I'd also seen it in Thailand a lot. And it's a purple potato. It's a sweet potato, but it looks purple. And when you mash it, it's purple as well from the inside. So it's a very strange vegetable, if you want to call it that. A potato, it's from the potato family. I don't know what term you want to call it, but it is basically a carbohydrate. That's what it is. So he said in this TV show, that could possibly be one of the secrets. It is this food that they're eating a lot of. Now, the other guy discovered in the old series, this was like done 10, 15 years ago, that the main thing they were eating in this village was fish. They still ate fish, but you see, this is the thing when everybody has to put their spin on everything. So I'm a fish guy, I'm a meat guy. So when I see a group of people living the longest and they're eating fish and they're eating potatoes, I'm going to dismiss the potatoes and I'm going to say, it was the fish that made them live the longest. In this instance, this guy said, it's the potatoes that made them live the longest. This is a new, different a new vegetable, and we don't have it over here in the UK. We don't have it anywhere else in the world other than there and a few other Asian kind of countries. I've not seen it in the UK, and I'm sure they could import it over here, but I've not seen it, or it's not readily available, let's just say that. So he pinpointed it down to this potato, this carbohydrate. And people who don't have the knowledge that I do in longevity will look at that and think, this is it. This guy said it's this, it's got to be that. Dismissing the other foods that they're eating. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this food is, it's not this food specific that we should all eat. The reason why we shouldn't is because every single race, every single person within that race is built genetically different. So there's certain countries that you can go to. Let me give you an example in a different roundabout way. You guys like to know I go around roundabout way of things. Okay, let's talk about blood pressure. Now, blood pressure for white Caucasians can be a lot higher before they are on any blood pressure medication than if there's a black guy. A black guy has high blood pressure, dialysis, jump him on, kidneys, something's going wrong. Asian people, bit of raised blood pressure, boom, there's something wrong. The guy's gonna have a heart attack, he's gonna have a stroke, there's gonna be an issue if his blood pressure's out of range. White guys, white people, it's fine, it's okay, it's just a little bit high. Nothing else matters. I mean, nothing else is affected by their blood pressure Asian countries, African countries, genetically, they are more affected with high blood pressure. Don't what's high blood pressure? We're told high blood pressure is 120/80. And they've done that for everyone across the board. Every single person in the world is 120/80. It's higher than that, it's high. Look, here's the thing, guys. You have to understand the genetic structure of every single individual and every single group of individuals. The race of that person. So it's black, Asian, white, and so on. Now, goes back to the food. So we take that food, right? Those people have been eating that particular food for centuries because that's what grows there. There's certain countries, like in Africa, where there's guys are jacked up, ripped to shreds, and they're only eating rice. They're not even having a high protein diet, yet they're shredded by just eating rice. You put that rice in a country like Pakistan, and we're gonna have a diabetic crisis, and we already have a crisis of diabetes over there. Blood sugar and all sorts is high on a constant to every single person because that's genetics, how they're made. It's simple as, I've discovered this, many people have discovered this, it's not just me. There's a lot of top doctors out there will now look at the person, look at their genetic background, their ethnicity, and see where they come from, where their family comes from, where the history of their family comes from, not just their immediate family. And think, okay, do you know what? I need to treat this guy differently because of that. We metabolize and digest food differently. If I ate the sweet potatoes that they're eating over there in Okinawa, Japan, or wherever it was, I'd probably die an early death. Because the second I have potatoes, I swell up. Every single thing swells up. I'm no longer vascular. Everything gets bloated. My face gets bloated. My blood pressure goes through the roof. How do I know that? Because I do the tests on myself. I have had potatoes every single day. Not changed any other variable. Just potatoes every single day. Blood pressure slightly elevated. Must be the potatoes. So I don't have a lot of potatoes. It's just the way it works. Everybody's individual. So going back to this guy's research or his theory about it must be this potato that is keeping them alive longer is absolute garbage. You see, he's forgot the other thing as well. He's forgot that they metabolize that potato better than any other race or group of people in the entire world. That's what he's failed to put in over there. And I watch these shows and I think the average person, no offense to them, is going to watch this and think, this has got to be it. We need to get those sweet potatoes. And the reality is, them sweet potatoes ain't going to do jack shit. Now I'm just going to do another set because I'm getting a bit cold over here. So I'm going to do another set. And by the way, I'm in my new gym, my home gym. I've been wanting one of these for many years. Finally got it. Okay, I'm gonna cut the set out, so don't worry about it. You won't be hearing me grunting through the video. So if you're now watching the video and I'm out of breath, it's 'cause I just did a set. So, going back to the potatoes, everybody metabolizes them different. Now moving forward, there was a couple of other things in that video which he mentioned, which I do agree with. And one of the main things, other than community, and they all have a garden, every single person who was the age 90 and plus, they had a garden to tend. So when they retired, they had something to do. They were up and down on their feet, squatting, doing what we now know as the Asian squat, multiple times a day. Whereas most people in Western cultures sit on their ass like I am, on a bench or on a chair, in a recliner, chilled out, in front of the TV, feet up, eating whatever. They don't ever squat. They don't get into this motion of they're doing a squat and then standing up and then squatting every single day throughout the day. Now in the Muslim world, we do this 5 times a day. It's like a form of yoga. They're getting up, they do the pray, they touch their head to the floor, they come up, they stand up, they bend over. All these actions are technically like a yoga, and they do that 5 times a day. Which is why my granddad, up until the age of almost 90, he would happily sit into a squat position. In fact, majority of the toilets out there in the villages in Pakistan, unless the people are from England and they completely destroy that way of life, are squatting toilets. Now, when you go into the toilet every single day, as long as you squat every day, imagine you squat every single day into that position for at least 3 to 5 minutes. It takes me longer to have a shit, but let's say 3 to 5 minutes. If you did that every single day, you'll never ever lose that flexibility. The only reason why nowadays, if I go anywhere in the UK and I say to people, sit into an Asian squat, they will not be able to do it. They'll fall back, they'll be on their tiptoes. After 2 minutes, their knees will start hurting, their ankles will start hurting, is because they haven't got used to doing that every single day. Whereas a child, the second a child can start walking, have a look how children, toddlers, sit naturally into that squat position, knees over the toes. We were told recently, up until recently, that knees over toes is wrong. There's got to be something wrong with it. Don't do that. It's bad for your knees. And now, you know, with new science, which is, it's stupid when they say, we've recently discovered this. Bro, this had been discovered for centuries. We knew this centuries ago. It didn't recently been discovered. We knew this, that having your knees over your toes, and when you sit down in natural position of squatting, going to the toilet and doing normal things. You know, you go to Pakistan, there's a group of 10 guys sat down, well, not guys, but like in the village areas. They'll sit down happily in a squat position. They just sat chilling because that's how we were supposed to be sat. We're not sat on rocks, we weren't sat on benches, we weren't laying down like this. They were sat squatting. So going back to the villagers, these people that live the longest, they're active, that's their exercise. They're not coming to the gym doing weights like this. I'm not saying do that, I'm just saying we now can use this tool to live a healthy life longer. That's why we go to the gym. Now, they probably didn't have the gym those days, or maybe a lot of those 80, 90-year-olds have never been to the gym from a young age, so they don't know nothing about the gym. But I believe it, that if they can get a healthy, long life by just squatting, imagine if they were implementing some sort of weight training with it as well. I believe that it will definitely prolong their life even longer. When I say prolong life, I mean a healthy life. You can easily prolong your life sat down, laying down, and you've got the gas on and the oxygen on, and everything's pumping around your system. You can't walk and you can't do nothing, you can just barely move. But I'm talking about an active life, like one that you stand up, you walk around. And a lot of these people, to be honest with you, I'll mention as well, they were mentally with it. They weren't unaware with what was going on. They weren't sat down like some 70-year-olds in the UK where they're like, what? You know, when they go a bit senile and they don't know what's happening. They were active, they were on it. And you know, in them Asian cultures, they love karaoke. Every time you go in anywhere in Asia, Asians love singing, bro. Simple as, they love singing. Anywhere I've been in Asia, be it Pakistan, be it China, be it Thailand, any country in Asia, people love to sing. It's normally you could say to somebody, bro, sing us a song, and they will sing it. I don't know why they have no shame, or they just not care, they don't care, or maybe they're just really good singers. I don't know. But they were doing karaoke up until the 90s. They were playing board games, dominoes, and all the other stuff that we're doing. So it was good. And one of the main things as well, what I noticed, and this guy noticed as well in the show, was, which I agree with him on, the other stuff I don't agree with, the food I don't agree with, because he didn't say that these people are used to eating this food for centuries, right? We're not. Was community. The thing that I agreed with was the community. They all got around together, and they had this thing where if one of them died, they all put money into a pot where it would support each other's family. And Pakistanis do this little thing as well, which it's not very similar to that, but it's like a banking system where 10 people put into the pot, one person gets the money out of the other 10, and then they pass it around bit by bit, so they can all buy a house, pay off the house, buy a car, the daughter's wedding, you know, stuff like that. It's like a committee kind of thing. So they'll put the money together, they'll pool the money together. And these people had something very similar. And then the other thing that I noticed, which I've mentioned this before in one of my videos as well, was they said to themselves before they ate the food, I can't remember the Japanese word for it, was, I'm only going to eat till I am 2/3 full or 80% full. The translations, something around there. Now, this is a very old thing. This goes way back, way back to the earliest places that I've seen. This is from the readings, the sayings of Confucius. Hinduism also believed in this, and then the Prophet Muhammad also relayed this onto his companions as well, saying, only eat till your belly is 70% full, and then the rest of it with water. So it's very common in very historic religious scriptures and everywhere. Even, you know, these people weren't necessarily doing it for religious purposes. They were doing it for longevity. They were doing it to know that we shouldn't overindulge in food. And even Japanese culture, if you look at the warriors like Miyamoto Musashi and stuff like that, and even I talk about Confucius a lot, is because they say, do not let your belly become your God, because your belly, in a sense, has a system of its own. It has another brain. It's like another system, another computer, which can trick you. But it can also be programmed, which is why I will say to people, learn how to program your hunger, learn how to program your digestive system. If you can master that and it not master you, you're going to live a very healthy, fruitful, long life. You know, the long bit I added on because who knows when you're going to die. But at least when you die, you'll be healthy when you die. Like I said, I've said this in other videos as well. The goal for me is to go to bed one day healthy as hell. Go to sleep and never wake up. I don't want to die getting in bed like this. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Oh, bring us some water. Can you bring me some aspirin? Oh, can you bring me that back pain medication? Drink that, get into bed. Oh, you know, I don't want to die like that. You want to die healthy. You want to do bench press in the morning. You want to go in the evening. You want to go in bed and never wake up again. That's the best way to die. So it's not going to prolong your life, but it's definitely going to make you healthy. And in theory, that will prolong your life because if you're healthy, you're not going to die early of something stupid like disease that you can easily prevent. Disease that you can't prevent, who knows? These things just do happen. But stuff that you can prevent, yeah, you're not going to get those. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully this gave you some value. I'm going to carry on with my workout. This will be a little bit of a new format I'm going to be doing some videos in. Let me know if you guys like it. I hope the mic is good as well. Comment down below, like, and please subscribe.